I'm a retired electrician. I worked for 45 years as a construction electrician around New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I retired about 15 years ago. I got my son and his granddaughter living at my house. I got my granddaughter and her teenage. There's 3 of them that are 20. So my great grandkids are 20, 19, 17, and 5 living at my house. So that keeps me busy. But as the chief of my nation, I'm expected to be at a lot of meetings. So we have clan meetings at home. We have clan meetings at home. We have nation meetings at home, so that all the clans are represented have a voice in things that are happening. We've got those not only pertain just directly with the clan issues, arguing over land. We've got community health workers. We've got an environmental office. We've got the clinic, health clinic, and we've got a dental clinic. So we've got to keep those things working and operating. We've got the problem with repatriations, so that I've been going out and do that. We've got outside, we've got what we refer to among ourselves for the 6 nations where we meet is I'm on a documentation committee meeting where because we are who we are, we say that we are not American citizens, so we want to get a passport. We make our own. We aren't asking them if they accept it. We're telling them we're doing it. So I've been traveling since, actually I've been sitting on our council since 1967. And in that time, I not only represent the nation, when I go to Grand Council, Grand Council has selected me to be on some of the committees that do the international work. So we worked on the Universal Declaration on Rights of Indigenous People, which applied to all the indigenous people of the world. I started working on that in 1977. 1997, I was in Geneva. That's where a lot of the meetings were, where it had the 20th anniversary of our start of our discussion, and there's still nothing done. In 2007, it was finally completed, and it was voted on at the United Nations in New York. I was there at the time, and at the time the vote was 144 to 4, with the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand voting against it. Because they had the most indigenous people and the most to lose, saying that we had rights to own things within that district. 3 years ago, President Obama declared he was going to be having discussions with the Native Nations communities. So I went to the White House meeting at that time, and out of the 567 recognized nations and tribes within the United States, Canada, across the United States and Alaska, 540 of them were present at this first meeting. I went to and it was no talk on the United States retracting or putting anything out on rights of indigenous people. I was there, and then I was there the next year. I represent the nation at that point, and the president said that he could support, or that he would have, all of his departments should have a policy on dealing with indigenous people within the United States within 90 days. The following year, I went back. He says he could support it, but we asked him how many departments had policies that were supposed to have been done 9 months ago. None of them had. So we're getting a lot of lip service from the government. But we've been, our ID cards, I've been working with the State Department, U.S. State Department, Homeland Security, Customs and Immigration. There were all those meetings. I've been doing repatriation consultations with the U.S. Army and South Carolina National Guard at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, over in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, accustomed to the Army and the reserve units that are there, plus they just recently put in public housing. I guess the different authority become publicized, or whatever you call that, the housing, so that it became a public entity and not the military. They have to consult too, so they're doing that. Now we're dealing with the Army and the National Guard, in the Corps of Engineers in Columbia, South Carolina, west of Georgia, down along the Savannah River, and over in federal highways over to Cincinnati, and Huntington, West Virginia. So that these all are little things that I have to do. Some of them you might say are menial, but we have to be there. If we don't introduce ourselves, nobody else will. When we go out and speak when we go out into the world, we tell them no one speaks for us. We speak for ourselves. We are independent. We have our own nation. And no one speaks for us unless we ask them to. And then at the same time, we tell them we do not speak for anyone else. These are our views. These are our opinions. And we don't speak for anybody unless they ask us. What you must understand too is that we as a separate nation do not take money from the United States for any purpose other than what was promised to us under health, education, and welfare by treaty. We don't get money to run our government. I don't get paid for my services, which I've been doing this since 1967 without pay. We had no money. We had no risk. Our little reservation has no anything that would really sustain ourselves. We have no income from land, water, anything. We could just do it because we had to, with our duties, with our obligations. We have an environmental office that their son Neil is our the director of that environmental office. But it's paid for under health, education, and welfare of our people, guaranteed under treaty. We have the issues with the education at home, with the state ed department, with the, anyway.